Hello healers and health seekers. My name is Ichoda. I am back to talk about questions that I got on my Instagram about high histamine foods. As you may know, I have a diagnosis of mast cell activation disorder as one of my many, and POTS and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, those three tend to go hand in hand. Usually they come along also with a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, which I have because I collected diagnoses before I found medical medium, just trying to find answers. So today, a couple of people actually asked me on my Instagram about high histamine foods because medical medium reposted a video that I did, just a little testimonial about how I've healed, and it brought about questions from other masties about high histamine foods and how was I able to do this protocol in light of those, and how did I tolerate the foods. So I will tell you. First of all, everybody is different. Literally everybody is different. So it's very hard for me to say, this is what you do, because as all mast cell patients know, if you've ever spoken to any other mast cell patients, which I know you have, we all have different reactions to different things. Some people can tolerate perfumes, for example, while others of us, no way. And some people react to more natural things in the environment, and others of us react to more chemical things in the environment. Histamine foods is one of those things that they tell you in paleo and autoimmune paleo and mast cell circles are bad for you. However, I had to do a lot of unlearning all of the research and all of the things I had learned about everything, about how to eat and how to take care of my mast cell activation disorder. When I started doing the medical medium protocols, for me, what happened when I was my sickest, and the entire sort of descent into being my sickest from the time I got the concussion, which was the trigger that really just sort of tanked everything. I spent every minute I could researching and looking for answers. I went to doctors, I got books from the library, I read all over the internet, PubMed, and all these different places about, how could I heal? What could I do? What are the root causes? I was looking for the root causes. What doctors kept giving me as diagnoses. Here's the name, here's the label, here's the thing, here's some pills. And I didn't want a Band-Aid. I didn't want to just manage my symptoms. I wanted to find out what was causing them. And none of them could give me those answers. And so when I read the medical medium book, I felt a shift. And I felt like this sounds right to me. It actually sort of gave the missing piece. I had been reading a lot of research into viral causes for a lot of the diagnoses that I had, and even autoimmune diagnoses, but I couldn't find that missing link, like what's the virus, what's the viral cause, how do you heal it? And I finally found it with medical medium. And what happened then was I sort of had to let go of everything I thought I knew, and that was a process. It took a while, because what medical medium tells us in many ways completely supports science and research that exists, and in other ways, as far as like what everybody knows to be true, you have to I had to sort of let go of that. I had to let go of like my decade of paleo eating and my decade of fruit fear and being so scared to put any kind of carbs into my body. And I had to just take a leap of faith. A long time ago, I did some personal growth work, and one of the things inside of that personal growth work was about trying something on. Like they would say, you don't have to believe this, you don't have to agree with it, just try it on, like a jacket. You're trying on a jacket. Does it fit? Do I like it? Will I wear it? Will I buy it? Will I take it home? So I did that with medical medium. I said, okay, well, you know, what if it's not true that all of these foods that I thought were harmful for me are harmful for me? And I want to be clear, I am not speaking about anaphylaxis. I am not speaking about anaphylactic reactions. That is different. I do not know the cause of anaphylactic reactions. However, I'm talking about, you know, how I'd get red flushing and hives and uncomfortable when I ate certain foods. Sometimes, depending on what, it would like maybe be burning on the lips or things like that, which that's another thing. But I found out that those things were not, I wasn't allergic to those foods. That's, you know, I was sensitive to them because they were causing big healing reactions in me. And when you're sensitive to a food like that, that doesn't mean, and because it's causing a healing reaction, that doesn't mean go eat more of it and make yourself more uncomfortable, because that's not the idea. You still want to go easy on those foods. If you don't feel good when you eat something, if you have some sort of response to it, it might be detoxing too much. It might be causing too much of a healing reaction. You might want to dial it down and wait until you can eat that food. With a lot of the high histamine foods that I learned not to eat, and the fruits and all of these things that I had learned over time not to eat, it turned out actually I could eat them and I didn't actually have reactions to them. And some things did take longer than others. And as I was doing the celery juice, and as I was, you know, doing the smoothies and eating the salads and doing the cleanse and things like that, as I was eating more and more foods that supported me, and I took all of the foods that feed viruses out of my diet, and I got back more and more foods. Like at first, I tentatively was like, okay, can I eat a raw tomato? Because I remembered before, like, I was kind of okay with raw tomatoes, but the cooked ones, not so much. And that was still true. I could have raw tomatoes in my salad, and that was okay. It did not cause any upset or distress in my body. I don't even think I got the flushing. It was 18 months ago, so I don't exactly remember. And then I got brave and I was like, oh, I'll just try this tomato sauce that spaghetti sauce that my husband made. And that was not, I still couldn't eat the cooked tomato sauce. It caused issues, flushing and stuff. So I just stayed away from it for a while. So if you're like me and you have a lot of sensitivities, don't think that you're failing if you can't do everything exactly the way it's outlined in the book. He has to, when you write a book and it's aimed at a broad audience, you have to sort of give a very general, basic guideline, because everybody is different. And a lot of times the raw cleanse, it can be, if somebody's really sensitive, and when you have mast cell activation disorder, that's pretty advanced Epstein-Barr. Oh, she always sneezes. That's pretty advanced stage of Epstein-Barr virus. So you want to probably do things a little slower and let your body detox a little slower so that it does not overwhelm your nervous system. So instead of having an all raw day, for example, if you can handle being raw till 4, great, be raw till 4. I'm still doing that. 18 months, I'm still doing raw till 4. Sometimes I have all raw days, and that's fantastic. And other times, she won't let me put her down. And other times, okay. Other times, I, will even sometimes have a day where I have cooked food for lunch, or maybe earlier than 4. To stop. So in the cleanse, if you're doing the cleanse, and I did this one, I started the cleanse. Now, first of all, I didn't start it completely by the book all the way, because I did at first in the cleanse, I was still eating animal protein, and so I would have lamb for dinner, or I don't know if I had chicken, but I was having meat for dinner, probably grass-fed beef and lamb and something. However, as time went on, I realized that I was gonna let go of that, and I did. But then so I was all raw, and that was maybe just a little too intense for me. My nervous system was getting a little overwhelmed, so by the detox. So instead, what I did was I would have a cooked potato for dinner. And I loved that. I mean, I still, like, we eat cooked potatoes so frequently. They are such a staple of our diet that I cannot tell you how happy I was. Yes, I can. I'm going to tell you. I was so happy to have all of these foods back because I had not eaten potatoes in, I don't know, years. It had been years, at least. It could have been a decade. I don't know. I hadn't eaten potatoes in so long. I hadn't eaten all these fresh foods in so long. I hadn't really been eating raw because paleo is a lot of time really about the cooked food. And I mean, I'd have salad sometimes and stuff, but not as much as I would have wanted to, I think. I did still eat bananas. I just couldn't. Like bananas at that time, I thought, oh, that's my Achilles heel or something. That was my body saying, please give me glucose. I need glucose to thrive. I need glucose to be free of this brain fog. Not this animal protein and fat. This is hurting me. But I didn't hear it. I just didn't get it at the time. Because I really had indoctrinated myself with the belief that a low carb, high protein, high animal fat diet was what was going to help and was the healthiest for me. I really thought that I was doing the best thing for my body. I was not. And that's okay. When we know better, we do better. And that's all right. You know, I mean, I knew what I thought I knew, and I had to unlearn so much of it. And so that whole thing about the high histamine foods, a lot of those foods actually are just really super healing for the body. And what they are causing is a healing reaction. And so you just go easy. You just go easy. You do what you can. You just go slow. You just take it easy. You go one step at a time. If you can do 16 ounces of celery juice right out of the gate, freaking awesome. Do 16 ounces of celery juice. That's brilliant. The most important thing is to get the no foods out of your diet. You want to stop feeding the viruses. Those foods are gluten, dairy, soy, corn, canola, artificial sweeteners, and that includes table sugar. That is an artificial sweetener. Anything that is processed other than maple syrup, because I guess maple syrup does go through a process, but it is still, pure maple syrup is still full of minerals, and it's okay. Raw honey is excellent. Do that. Anyway, again with the no foods. MSG, which comes in so many forms. You want to look this up. I'll put a link below to like the many forms of MSG because it's crazy. Natural flavors, MSG. Here's one that in the vegan community is super popular. Nutritional yeast. That is MSG. In the body, it does the same thing as MSG. Don't put it on your food. It's not the health food that people think it is. It's okay if you think it is. I did too. It's not. Oh my gosh, did I not say eggs? What? Eggs are the worst one. Do not eat eggs. Eggs feed all the viruses. Don't eat eggs. Eggs are what helped tank my health because I was eating so many eggs. When you eat paleo, high protein, high animal fat, it's all about the eggs. That's like a prime protein source, you know. We had our own chickens, free range, grass fed, happy little chickens. It was great. I loved those chickens. They're so funny. Chickens are hilarious. It doesn't matter because the viruses that came to be in our systems in the first place were grown on eggs. And eggs over time became a food for them. And so it doesn't matter the quality of the egg or anything like that. You can't. Eggs will feed the viruses. It's sad because they used to be a healthy food. All grains, if you have strep like I do, grains feed strep, so you want to stop the grains. I took over a year to sort of get that like really into my head and understand like, no, grains feed strep, stop eating rice. And it's fine if you don't have strep. If you're healing from other viruses and not strep, or if you've healed to the point where you're cool, grains, rice is fine. Learn quicker than I did that grains feed strep and stop feeding it because I didn't kind of realize. It took me a while to realize like, oh, grains feed strep. It's pretty simple, but for some reason it wasn't getting through whatever level of brain fog I still had or something. If there were 3 things I could say to do to get to start, if you could just take the no foods out, add in 16 ounces of celery juice in the morning. Now, if you cannot do 16 ounces of celery juice because it's just too intense and too strong of a reaction, not the flavor, because the celery juice has a strong flavor. You'll get used to it. It's fine. But if you can handle 16 ounces, great. Look, the first 3 days I did celery juice, it went straight through me. And by straight through me, I mean it went in liquid, it came out liquid. Maybe not in the place you would expect liquids to come out. It was not pleasant. However, after 3 days, it stayed in a little longer, and a little longer, and a little longer, and it's okay. Now celery juice does sort of cue my body like, hey, you know, we'll do some elimination, but that's okay because I want to eliminate those toxins. I want to push out, you know, I want things to come out of me, all the toxic stuff. I want that out. So to me, I think that's okay. But it's not a big deal. It's not like it was in the beginning. Over time, your digestion heals. Things stay in you better, and it's okay. And the celery juice is like the #1 thing you can do to heal your digestion. With the celery juice, if you cannot tolerate 16 ounces at first, that is okay. You do whatever you can tolerate. My mom could tolerate 2 ounces of celery juice. 2 ounces or 2 stalks? Small amount. Anyway, she could only tolerate the smallest amount of celery juice, and that is okay. She just kept drinking that until she could tolerate more. That's what you do. If you can't tolerate any celery juice whatsoever, that's okay. Start with cucumber juice because there's always something you can do. Wild blueberries are the #1 thing you can do to just bolster your body in general and your spirit. They are loaded with antioxidants. They are loaded with healing capacity, potential for your body, and they are an amazing thing. And most people will tolerate frozen wild blueberries. And you can eat them all kinds of different ways. You can make them into ice cream. Do some frozen bananas, some frozen wild blueberries, some raw honey. Blend it up in whatever device you have to blend frozen things. Vitamix, whatever, Ninja. It's delicious. You can put them in smoothies. You can eat them plain with some raw honey over them or just plain. There's so many ways you can eat raw frozen wild blueberries. If you think you can't do this because you're looking at the whole picture and you're like, oh my gosh, supplements, what am I going to how? And your head starts spinning and you start talking like I'm talking right now. And you're like, I don't know where to start. There's 2 things I can tell you. That, what I told you, start small. And then the other thing is, Muneeza, the modern medicine woman who I posted my interview with before, she has actually created a guide for how to start doing the medical medium protocols. I will put a link to it below. It is so helpful for when you just don't know what to do. And I'm so grateful that she put that out. Now, so there's ways. Do not get discouraged. Do not feel like you can't do this because you can't do it all at once, or don't think that your illness is too big and there's no way and there's just no hope for you, because there's hope. Even if all you can do is pray to the angels and there's nothing else you can do, like if you're tube fed or you have TPN and you're not able to orally put anything in your mouth. If you can't start with the foods, then start with the spiritual aspects. Start with the meditation. Start with praying to the angels and asking them for help. Anthony, the medical medium, he has many great blog posts about this. He did a radio show that is on SoundCloud right now. I will link below, that is about the angels and asking the angels for help. It was just on Hay House again yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. But he also has healing meditations in his books. There's always a place to start, and you can start small, however small you need to, and you can get there and you can heal. If you need help, if you have questions, if you need somebody to just cheer you on and you know, who's been there, ask me. You can ask me in the comments. You can go on my Instagram, Hichota is Healing, and you can ask me. I will talk to you. I will help you troubleshoot, because over the time that I've been doing this, I have seen so many people heal, and I have seen so many people who needed help. And if you just reach out, there's so many people in this community, this amazing medical medium community, who are so willing to give you anything they have, because we know what it's like. We've been there. We've been there. We've been that sick. And it's something we wouldn't wish on anybody, but I'll tell you what, you can come out of it. You can. It takes time and perseverance, but you can do it. You can do it. You're a warrior. You know how I know? Because only warriors can handle this level of chronic illness. Who else could do this? You do it. You can do it. I know you can heal. I hope I answered the question about histamine foods today. I hope I answered, and I hope I was able to let you know that there is a way. It doesn't have to be the exact way that's laid out in the book. There are ways to modify the cleanse. There are ways to start smaller and slower. Some people have incredibly sensitive nervous systems, and that is okay. That is okay. You can still heal. Just might take a little longer, and that's okay. Healing is not an overnight thing. I think we're trained from the society and the world that we live in, and kind of the way our systems work, to think that we should be able to fix this overnight and symptoms should go away overnight, and that's not how it works. Healing takes time, and it's okay, because how long did it take us to get this sick? How long did it take us to have these illnesses in our bodies? You know, I've been living with mine for years. I mean, my health really tanked, and I had like a 5-year period of like really chronic illness where I was not functional in the world at all. But before that, I can see where it was kind of headed that way. It was just waiting for that trigger. That's another topic for another video. I will say goodbye and bid you adieu. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't speak French. Thank you for watching. I hope this was informational. I hope it helped. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. I will post links to everything I said in the description below. Please, please like this video, comment below, tell me, you know, what concerns you have, what questions you have for me. Anything you want to say in the comments below, I am happy to hear it. I really like questions, and that can lead me to more topics in the future, and that let me get to know you better. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you want to watch more videos about my healing stories and questions I might answer about my journey with medical medium. And I'll see you next time. Keep being curious, keep that curiosity, keep seeking health. I believe you'll get there. I believe you can heal, and I'll see you next time. Bye.